Welcome. Wow, that was abrupt. Welcome, everybody, to a Timberwolves post-game show featuring Dylan from C&D Pod. Welcome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We won the championship again. I don't know how to use a camera.
Yes, we did. And I've got a bottle of water, unfortunately. I thought about grabbing a beer, but
Popping
Whoa.
that champagne, baby.
The
Yeah,
content, man. The content.
we're popping the bottles. But yes, Timberwolves win game 1 against the Grizzlies in the playoffs. Ant is one of only 5 players to have scored over 30 in their first playoff game, and he did over 30 in the play-in. But man, what a good feeling, and what a good start to an important series for the Timberwolves.
Just
Ashwin,
get him the ball. Let him shoot some free throws at the end. Get him to
Yes,
42, baby.
Seriously,
he
he
could
could
have
have.
passed with one more shot.
He could have. Ashwin, how you feeling?
Feeling great, man. Feeling great. How about you, Dylan?
I'm on cloud 9 right now.
Cloud nine.
I haven't been normal for like a week and a half right now. I've just been so amped.
Yeah, I don't see your lower torso on down, so you might be on a cloud. That's you could be floating right now. That's pretty.
Yeah, there we go.
There it is, for sure.
We got it. Yeah, no, I mean, just
Mr.
What does it say?
Mr. Applehead.
Applehead.
This goes all the way back to when he was drafted. They did all these things with rookies where they're like, who is this 90s person? And it was Jim Carrey from The Mask. And he's like, I don't know, Mr. Applehead.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
So schlang about that for me.
Crazy.
For my birthday.
That's funny.
But yes, we're back, and holy cow, how exciting. Gerald says he needs some Bev Light. Darren says he's got his Bev Light ready. Man, just
I got
exciting.
my Andre Drummond.
Yeah, you got your Drummond.
Andre. Yeah. But man, I instantly, my reaction is instantly I feel so much better about this series. Not that I didn't feel terrible, but like winning the first game on the road, especially in Memphis, because Memphis is a tough crowd. That's just a huge win, and to have Ant go off 2 games in a row just shows that he's going to show up. You know, I was kind of worried about an Ant, like one of those 5-point games coming out of him in this game, just because, you know, he likes to kind of talk it up after he has a good game, and then he comes out the next game and it's like neutralized. But not today. And Carl came out, man, shout out to Karl Anthony Towns, because this was quite a game from him coming off of a terrible, terrible game. I expected him to overcompensate, cause a million offensive fouls because he was going to be trying to score 50. Instead, I think he actually finished the game with 3 personal fouls, but the first one didn't come until like the end of the third or beginning of the fourth. I don't know. I'm just like, I am also on cloud 9 right now.
Composure, discipline, relaxed. Like they weren't stressed. It didn't seem like they were stressing about anything. Mm-hmm. There were some early foul calls that were happening on the end of Beverly and Ant, and getting a couple people in foul trouble like Vando and even Jaden. But we didn't really sweat it. And I think this was maybe a sign of things to come for Finch. He coached the hell out of the game. Yeah. Things weren't going the right way. He took Nas out immediately. And Cat was riding Cat all the second half, just except for a small little blip in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. Jaden, heavy doses of Jaden in the fourth quarter. D'Lo taken out after he was kind of stinking it up. Yeah, lots of really cool small little micro things that that Finch did that really kind of like in the margins took us ahead, and we got to a 10-point lead. We never really got back down to a tie game or a deficit because we were just adjusting correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me of the Clippers games in ways where we were just like, it was always within distance for the Grizzlies to come back and kind of take it from us. But whenever they either tied it up or took a very small lead, we just, again, kind of put the pedal to the metal again and just zoomed ahead for another, like, a little 5-10 point spurt. So, yeah, I mean, it was just... It was fun to watch, and it was a really good game. I'm sure that a lot of Memphis fans feel like they were gypped out of some calls, but that just happens, and calls went both ways tonight.
That D'Lo call is going to kill me for forever.
Which one? The
clear path that wasn't a foul.
Oh my God!
It was a clear path.
Yeah.
But he
I'm
didn't
glad he
touch him.
reviewed it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, he didn't touch him. Yeah, I thought that was going to be such a clean play. And then, I mean, at the end of the game, it comes back to D'Lo getting a clear path foul for himself, which at that point it was over. But man, just crazy.
What were some takeaways for you, Dylan?
At Jaden Dagger, we got some young guys who can really ball. Like,
dude, the second-year players are like riding us to the top, man.
Yes. Thrust the pro toss.
From Ant and 15 for Jaden. That's 51 points from our second-year dudes.
And I don't expect – I mean, I expect great lockdown defense from Jaden, but I don't expect offense from Jaden when the other guys are cooking. Because Jaden has shown that he can kind of go away if he doesn't get on-ball attention. But he was able to, like, just sit in the corner and do his thing and keep his composure and be there when the Wolves needed him, which was – that's the most important player. I talked with Chilango a lot about like podcast hosting and how you have the number 1, the number 2, and then the number 3 like role players in a podcast. And the third guy needs to be low usage or third person. Sorry to genderize that. Third person needs to be low usage, high efficiency.
Who's that third person?
Yeah, who is that?
I'm usually the third person because we bring on a guest and they always talk their asses off.
That works. But yeah, no, I think, you know, we had so many people step up tonight, and I mean, obviously you think of Ant and Cat tonight, but you're right, the Jaden plays, and just having Jaden in there defensively, I just love him. Even though he gets 5 fouls a game, I don't care. Also, speaking of 5 fouls, Malik Beasley had 5 fouls tonight. I don't know if I've ever seen him have a 5 foul game or even above like 2.
Yeah, a lot of questionable calls, but you know that's stuff we can debate and kind of go in the details if we want to. But yeah, honestly, that's a testament to Beasley playing aggressive, Beasley playing defense. Beasley has been showing us in this last quarter of the season that he's like deserving of minutes and not just an offensive 3-point gunner. I was mentioning, you know, players of the game from previous games. Beasley with 2 steals, Beasley coming back from a small little hiccup of an injury, and then 4 or 5 rebounds and a couple steals and his 15 points. Like, you're not expecting that other side of the ball from him, and I think it's giving Finch a lot of trust because we have a gunner, we have a sharpshooter, we have someone we can rely on the other side too, and it's really kind of giving some runway for Finch to kind of experiment with lineups too, because otherwise we're going to have a heavy usage of Vando and like Fit and Prince, and giving Beasley that extra line. We can now rest D'Lo, and now we can shift our lineups down or up. And we went big towards the end of the game with Prince and Jaden and Ant. It's pretty cool to see.
And we needed Beasley because he was because Bev was in foul trouble.
Oh, and definitely. Yeah.
And I remember when Bev got his 4th, I believe, and Finch took him out and Beasley came in, I was just like, meh. Whereas earlier on in the year, I would have been like, oh no, oh God,
Yeah.
Jaw's going off. But now, and we saw it in his first year with us, Beasley has that enforcer Patrick Beverley type mindset too inside of him. But it takes certain games for it to come out of him at this point.
Yeah.
He was aggressive from the jump tonight, which I liked because actually, God, he took 14 shots. I didn't even realize it was that many. But I mean, he made 8 of them. So that feels good for sure. He had 23 points. I'm too spiritually involved in these games to analyze them, because I'm looking at the stats right now and I'm like, I cannot believe that Beasley had 23. I cannot believe that Jaden had 15. All I remember is Cat and Ant and then a couple Beverly shots. Also, I do remember Nas playing some of the worst basketball he's played all season. Which is why Carl played nearly the entire game, because we could not bring him back in.
Honestly, we were just lucky that he played the game he did on Tuesday. I feel more lucky about that than totally. I do bad about how Nas played tonight, because this is, to me, closer to what Nas is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, together we are all spiritually Wolves fans tonight, kicking ass. Let us pray. I want to say I think Finch recognized some mismatches, and I don't think Taylor Jenkins was acted fast enough in his rotations, and some of the people that he was lingering on the court with. Adams didn't need to be on the court that much,
Adam was horrible.
Adams is horrible. And while Zaire Williams is an athletic freak, he was letting us go, like letting us drive right through him. So it was really interesting to see some of that minutes. Like he went 10, 12 deep. And while we did too, we kind of had spot minutes here and there. And I realized, like, man, this is going to be a coaching battle. This is going to go deep. This is not just a 4 and out, or, you know, we're not the Wolves that are just going to back down from a fight here. So I'm very impressed with like what I saw from Finch, and it's hard to kind of like quantify because there's no stat line for coaches or whatever. But just seeing like the minute distribution and seeing Jaden get, you know, the minutes he got, Beasley getting the time he has because he's small and he's not necessarily a defensive threat or anything, and yet Ja Morant didn't score until late in the fourth quarter after the first half. Desmond Bane popped off early, but then didn't really get going in the second half. Dylan Brooks got, you know, into foul trouble early, and then, you know, maybe had a couple threes here and there in the third, but didn't really take over the game.
It felt like it took until the fourth quarter for them to figure out that they need Jaren Jackson at center and Kyle Anderson at the 4.
Right. Right, and we took advantage of that in a lot of ways. And I was worried about their others, the Brandon Clarks, the Tyus Jones, the Kyle Andersons, and they didn't really get a lot of effort out of them, or a lot of play out of them. And I would say that was a takeaway for me. Like, you know, just simply put, like, we outgunned them. We shot 50% from the floor, and we had better production from our bench with a weapon that is our bench compared to the best bench in the NBA, apparently.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, I still think I need to be convinced on our bench being as good or better than Memphis's. I'm not trying to say that that's what you're saying, but you know, our bench is either something that really, really works or really, really doesn't. There's not, and the good part about it is if we can stay out of foul trouble with Cat, Ant, and D'Lo, then we can kind of mix and match them with the bench to make it a little bit less bad if it is bad. But you know, like we had big shots from Torian, we like Beasley's crazy, and it just we had an all-around performance. And the other thing, to like what you guys are talking about, Steven Adams played 24 minutes tonight. He should not have played more than like, well, I mean, probably at all, but like more than 15 or even 10. Because it was obvious that he was getting beat, and Carl's doing, like, although Carl didn't like fully beat him at one point, it's just the plays that you see from Carl where he can blow by somebody like a Steven Adams or a Valanciunas that is maybe just a little bit slower. I couldn't believe that we were seeing him thrown out there in later situations in the game. I thought it was just going to be like a first quarter thing and that's it. But
3 rebounds in 24 minutes. He was getting out rebounded by everyone on the court.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's a great point, because in the beginning of the game, we were offensive rebounding insanely. We were getting, I don't have stats on it, but like
regularly.
Yeah. Every possession, it was like we were going down, getting the offensive rebound, taking another shot, getting another offensive rebound. Just effort plays that kind of, I think, punched the Grizzlies in the mouth. I think the Grizzlies, although they were upset that they're kind of being called underdogs for some reason in this series, you know, I think they still didn't take us very seriously. I think they weren't fully locked in, and I think some of that comes from maybe being off for a while too.
Who called them underdogs?
Well, there's been, I mean, a lot of the national media, like, you know, I mean, like you think just of the TNT crew. Yeah, the TNT crew has said
everyone's calling Memphis in 4 or 5 right now.
I mean, yeah, you look at Stephen A. Smith, you look at Jalen, and they're both Memphis in 5. And then during the game, they were Memphis were down 13, and Stephen A's like, I'm not worried about this. This is what we thought was going to happen.
Really? Did you say that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I just wanted to see him after the game admit it's not going to be Memphis in 5.
Right.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. From what I've seen, maybe I'm in different crazy parts of the internet, but I've seen a lot of people calling Memphis underdogs. But either way, I don't think they took us seriously coming into this game. And I think they will in game 2. But that's, I mean, that's going to, I mean, if we come out and we're close or win game 2, oh my goodness, they're in shambles. They're just in shambles.
It's a big deal. We just had a game on Tuesday, and they had a week off. They could have been a little sluggish. They could have had a little bit of lack of energy, or like kind of game plan was like. It just still maybe a 48-hour game plan as opposed to a full week game plan. We were here for one game and we got all in. We got that momentum and that enthusiasm and that like trust in each other coming into a game one. Now the chip is off our shoulder and we can play free. Now the chip is on their shoulder. They need to prove something because they're a young team who got ousted in the first round last year, and they need to be bigger than themselves. And so now the pressure is kind of on them, and now they need to respond. And that sucks for a young team, and that sucks for unproven coach in Taylor Jenkins. So they have to respond, and we're going to have a different game plan. It's pretty interesting. Dylan, my question to you though, coming into the series, what were your kind of feelings overall, and maybe kind of some like keys to the series, and like what did you learn from this first game?
I've been saying Memphis in 7 since Tuesday night. Even in the heat of the moment, I was trying to keep my head on straight.
Same.
And right now, I still think it's a 7-game series. Oh, Chalanga's here.
What up, Chalanga?
So I don't see this. I mean this opened up the possibility of Wolves in 6. We can win it at home now.
Yeah.
We have home court advantage now, the Wolves. And so this could happen, but the Wolves are going to have to keep calm about all of this. The one thing that was a huge blessing in disguise was, and like obviously getting the 7th seed is already a blessing, but winning on Tuesday and being able to do an entire media tour for Patrick Beverley and to get all that out of the way so that they could get their heads on straight Thursday and Friday, and then have their heads in the game for Saturday. I think that was huge, because if the Wolves would have won in a close one against the Pelicans on Friday night and then had to turn around on Sunday and play game 1, that would have been a different story, in my opinion.
I think so too.
Yeah. I coming into this, I also agree with you, Dylan. I thought it was going to be Memphis in 7. I can't remember exactly what I tweeted something out earlier today with all my predictions. I can't remember what I even predicted now, but I know I did Grizzlies in 7. And I just thought though, if we win this first game, that could greatly change my mind. And I think it is. I think Wolves in 6 is seriously a real possibility, because we looked really good tonight. And somebody brought it up in the comments earlier. They were talking about Ja looking bad tonight. I mean, Ja looked rough at times tonight. He was really forcing the issue at times, but that's also kind of his game. That's
his game. That's his game.
Yeah. So, is Ja, the way he currently plays, something that can win a playoff series? I don't know. And that's why when we were coming into these, I was talking about their role players like Brandon Clark. I was talking about a lot, or DeAnthony Melton, who luckily did not go off tonight. Those kind of players, because I'm not so worried about Ja, but the bench role players I am. Is that how you guys feel, or is it different? I'll go to you first, Dylan.
Sorry, what was that? I was trying to see if Chalanga was online or not.
You're good. No, it's. Do you think? Are you worried about Ja going into this series, like picking it up and starting to win, or are you more worried about?
That's not how they
bench?
win.
Yeah,
that's not how they win. We know that how they win.
Yeah.
Ja's out and they can still win. Ja's good when he's getting the team cooking.
Yeah,
and that's when I'm going to be worried. If the thing that I was worried about at the beginning of the game was that Ja was getting through the blitz. Yeah. He was splitting the defenders and getting to the hoop. That stopped happening. And when you get, you have to foul him hard. Mm-hmm. And as long as you keep doing that and you have the fouls to give and you can keep playing him hard like that and aggressive and blitz him in the pick and roll, Ja is game planable. I was saying this with Chalanga last night. Every player in the NBA is game planable except Giannis, Jokic, and Kevin Durant. Yeah. Those are the only 3 players. So the fact that Karl Anthony Towns was game planable on Tuesday, not a big deal. So is John Morant.
Yeah, that's true.
Apparently, Chalanga's mad at you.
Wait, what?
Apparently, Chalanga's mad at you.
Oh no, why?
And now I'm going to hide his comment. I don't know. The world may never know. Weren't you guys a little dismissed when the second quarter happened and we just had that 10-point lead and it was just buried in a second? We coughed up 11 turnovers. We were less than ourselves. We disrupted in kind of pointing fingers and complaining at the refs. And Towns didn't know where he needed to be to set screens. Yeah. And we were missing shots. And Tyus Jones was cooking us. And it was just mad. It was maddening for me. And I was like, Is this how the Memphis Grizzlies wants to play us, where they have this jaw like moment of just jaw usage, and then when jaw goes to the bench, they play like a team, or are they going to figure something out other than that? Because this team concept is going to get us. But yeah, just like as you said, hedging and fronting and blitzing jaw in the beginning really slows them down. You could see that multiple times in that fourth quarter. Jaden McDaniels is electrifying defensively, and maybe he doesn't get the stats. He doesn't get like the blocks or anything, but he got 3 blocks tonight. He had 7 rebounds tonight to go with his just on point defense. It was incredible to see that kind of richness and that stature from a first time playoff player. Speaking of Anthony Edwards, we've just learned that he's not shy in a playoff situation where the lights are the brightest, and 36 points leads our team in that. And I just feel like we should kind of just like, here's the torch and just take us and carry us, because this is a version of the Timberwolves that I really enjoy when it's kind of cat driven, cat focused, cat oriented. There's a lot of like obviousness to the game, whereas with Ant, there's a lot of nuance that is unpredictable, as you were saying, like how can you guard these certain players? Well, Ant is kind of becoming that man, and we need to kind of ride with that, and so I'd like to know your thoughts, Cameron, Dylan, like just how this game kind of like boosted your confidence about like game 2, game 3, kind of heading home to Target Center.
Yeah, I think we've agreed all year basically that we think that Ant needs to be the one. That's the way that this team can really, really be successful. It can't just be Towns being the main one, because I think if you have Towns and Ant like you did tonight, or Towns and D'Lo, or not Towns and D'Lo, Ant and D'Lo the last game, you have 2 of those big 3 working off each other. That's really strong, and I think especially when it's Towns and Ant, that's dangerous, because you have 2 really, really. I mean, Ant obviously can shoot from anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's a 2, a 3. He can drive, and on top of that, his defense is insane. And then you go to Towns, who's a big who can shoot threes. He can drive as well, and although it's not great, he can still post up to some extent. Have the pick and roll between those 2, I think, is the way towards winning, and then driving and kicking to 3-point shooters, which we have. So yeah, I agree. I think the way tonight was played is how games should be played, and then you just hope that you have a little bit better performance from Russell.
Well, it's one or the other, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going to be Russell or it's going to be Ant. Someone's got to cook. And if neither one cooks, it's a loss.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I agree. Do we believe in God or what?
I believe in Ant God.
Ah, there we go.
Ant God.
Well, do we want to jump into the tier list?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
We had a little over-under fun tonight. We had Cat's line was set to 4.5 fouls, and he went over with 5. Or no, he went under with 3. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. We had Ant's line set to 3.5 threes. He hit 4, just over. D'Lo was set to 20.5 points, and he went under by a big margin with 10. Ja was over 28.5 points. Yes, he went over with 32. Vando under 3.5 rebounds. He had 1. Rebound. I don't know why I'm doing this. Beverly under 1.5 steals. He had only 1. And Wolves with a 41 point first quarter went over 28.5. So grats Gerald. Grats Discord. It's fun to be part of the Discord, watching the games live, chatting with your friends, repping your Wolves, doing a tier list with friends, doing an over-under with, just kind of a fun little community building activity. So if you guys are listening, tuning in, make sure you like, subscribe, and share with your friends, or not. It doesn't matter. But most importantly, join our Discord and take part of this. It's really fun to be a part of all this, because this doesn't happen every year. So we got to kind of take it and ride it for what it is.
And on top of that all, you got to check out Dylan and the Cnd Show on Twitter, on Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts.
Google Podcasts.
Yes.
Whichever billionaire you choose rightly.
Yes, true. Correct. All right. Well, we've got, honestly, we should probably just go through everybody. If you see, I have a new addition to the tier list. We've put our enemy, Jarrett Culver, in the Glenn Taylor tier list. So he is now joining Juancho in there tonight. So sorry about that. Not really, but yeah. So let's start with Naz Reid, who only played 5 minutes, had 2 rebounds and 3 personal fouls, almost a foul per minute. I'm thinking this is probably a Juancho. But I do agree with your take, Dylan, that the last, like, we should just be thankful for what we got out of the last game from him, because like we don't expect that, and that was huge in the last game. But for this game, I think it's Juancho. Any disagreement?
Yeah, well, the box score is empty, so I can't disagree.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Eye test says no. The eye test can't disagree, and the box score can't disagree. So
yes, and I should mention for anybody that's new here, basically C is what we expect. A1 is an unforgettable. We'll never forget that game, player, and then Juancho is you actively took away from the team. So and then everything in between.
Glenn Taylor. The Glenn Taylor tier is you set fire to chickens.
Yes, exactly.
I think so.
Another protest for Glenn Taylor, not even in Minnesota. Insane.
He's a popular guy.
Yeah, and the
stands, man.
The way that protester took off their jacket too, it's just like, whew. And then did you see that? There was
some rehearsal involved for
there was
sure.
Definitely rehearsal.
Chalenga, I don't know what our Discord is. We don't have a Discord yet. He's like half set up a Discord for us.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use Discord.
That's okay. It's for the children. But next up, Baby Mac, 9 points, 3 assists, or not 9 points, 9 minutes, 3 assists, and a steal. That's about it. I wouldn't necessarily call it bad minutes, I guess, unless I'm forgetting something. I'm kind of leaning towards a C. Does anybody have any great J-Mac moments that they can remember?
I'm going to give it a B because he got minutes over Jalen Noel. And congratulations to our short king on that one.
Short king. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they were seeing what Tyus was doing. They were like, hey, can you do anything about that? And the answer was no, but he was there anyways. I think it's cool to have him out there because I think he gives a different look. Jalen is more ISO. We need a bucket. J-Mac is here, have 10 minutes, do something with it. Have more offensive potential with like getting everyone else involved. Because I think with our starting unit, we saw a detriment in offense in the second quarter, and that's where his minutes kind of were. Like there were no more J-Mac minutes, I felt. So just kind of like spelling D'Lo, but also like Beverly was in foul trouble. We got to go to someone who can control the ball. And
he was one of the few negative players tonight as well.
Whatever.
So yeah, I think normally we give it to the guest, but I think we're gonna give him a C tonight. Where did he go?
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Where did he go? Did I lose him? There he is. Perfect. All right. Next up, we've got, let's do, it's not right in the order here, but let's do Malik Beasley, who's also not on there. Malik Beasley, no, not Malik Beasley, Taurean Prince. I'm off. Taurean Prince had 5 points, 2 rebounds. He was only 2 of 6 shooting, didn't have any fouls, only played 11 or 12-ish minutes. But he did hit a big 3 at a point, and maybe it was some free throws. I can't remember. But, he missed his only free throw. I mean, this is like his first game back from injury, so it's kind of hard to judge too much. But I guess I'm leaning towards, we probably expect a little bit more production out of him. Probably expect more minutes as well. So I guess I'm leaning towards like a C-ish.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's fine. These players kind of bore me at the moment because these players didn't have as much of impact as the ones that we will be talking about shortly, and the ones that kind of took it from Memphis, honestly. And when Taurean Prince is playing, that's great. It's awesome that he was available tonight. That was his best asset, that he was available, giving us a different look in case Jaden was in foul trouble and was ineffective. The fact that he was out there and able to produce and able to spell minutes for Vando, but also contribute alongside Jaden, it was the best part of the game, I think, for him, because that helps us kind of flesh out the roundup of like our offense where we're all on the perimeter and forces the defense out on the perimeter so then Ant can drive, so then others can drive, Cant can drive, and that's his biggest role, really.
Yeah, true. And well, we are on to, or I didn't even, yeah, I did. No, I didn't.
Plus, I think you made that transition 3, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, we're on to the players that kind of did, although I kind of wanted to get Vando, even though Vando was a starter, he only played 18 minutes and was a minus 11. let's get him out of the way. He was 2 points, 6 rebounds, a steal, or an assist, excuse me. Only 1 of 3. He had a chance to get a dunk right in the beginning of the game and then got blocked or stuffed, or I can't remember what happened by the rim. Honestly, this was not like a great Vando game. I'm leaning D.
Bad Vando game.
Bad Vando.
Bad Vando. Bad.
Vando.
This is another byproduct of Finch, though, because like he sees the writing on the wall. Vando's not really going to get the time and the minutes or the production that's going to kind of offset what Jaren Jackson's doing or what other people are doing. So like when Jackson went out, he subbed him out and he got Jaden in. It's pretty cool. It was like nice to see that kind of flow.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not really Vando's fault, but also Vando didn't do anything with his minutes.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. So next, though, we're gonna get into all the players that had a pretty big Torian Prince's and NPC. We're gonna get into some players that did affect the game a little bit more tonight. And speaking of Jaden, we're gonna go to Jaden. Jaden had
NFT.
Yeah.
NFT.
Yes. Jaden had 15 points, 7 rebounds in 25 minutes. He was 5 of 6 shooting. He did have 5 fouls, but he was a team high, and it felt like it, plus 19. Maybe we do our first 3-2-1 of the 3 of us. Give him a grade. How do we feel about that? All right. I take that as a yes.
I'm ready.
Good.
We're going to do 3, 2, 1.
A1.
Oh, okay. So I said A, and I heard an A and an A1.
I got A1.
Wow. I mean, that's a good point. Sell us on
I
A1.
like that. I like that point.
His defense was the most important thing on the court. And at the same time, he had 15 points on 6 shots.
Yeah.
6 shots. That's so difficult to do. He was given the least amount of work to do, and he did the most with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he got 3 offensive rebounds. 3 offensive, and those were like he was fighting down there for those. He looked like Vando, honestly. He literally replaced Vando and shot 3s.
Vando's role is in turmoil.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Everybody's job should be in jeopardy. These guys should fight.
Yeah. No, you're right. Ashwin, what did you say?
Are you here to replace me, Dylan?
That's right. We're all fighting.
Yeah.
It's healthy capitalist competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, love what I saw from Jaden. I think it was awesome to see him out there. Like, it's the trust in a second-year player because he does so much that is like not unprompted, but it's just skill. It's just instinct. It's just basketball acumen. It's like you don't have to call a play for Jaden ever, and then he takes it on upon himself to make that free throw line baseline shot, and like that 3 that was in the transition or in that corner that was like, game saving kind of game clinching 3. Like, that's unprompted. That's not a design play for him ever. So it's really cool to see that. And within the offense, within the margins, he's able to get that offensive putback or offensive, kick out or whatever. So it's really sick to see that he's able to evolve his game live in front of us in a playoff game. So.
Yeah, I think it's time. I've done this before, but I think it's time for me to issue my apology to Jaden McDaniels. Earlier in the season,
it's time.
I was before the season even, I was very much an advocate of trading Jaden for if you because like he was a very high asset at that time, and I did not believe that he was going to flourish in our system or maybe any system. I figured he might be a high energy player that maybe can get some buckets.
I'm just gonna mute his ass.
But that's what I thought. Finally, the apology. It's become the point now where I look forward to Jaden getting on the court, not only for defense, but sometimes offense. So there,
we don't have minuses in the tier list. Just look at the screen.
Yeah. It's sad. It's sad, but it's true. And I'm owning up to it. So I'm sorry, Jaden. And for that, I don't think anybody in the chat gave a grade. Oh, wait, Shalanga. I don't know why I said Shay. A-.
Wait, but JJ Creates says I'm down for the A1 hype.
Okay.
Again, it's the 3rd player. He's the most important.
That's true. You know what? We'll give him an honorary A1, bumping him up even with the 5 fouls. But I mean, he was crazy good. He was crazy.
Oh
good.
man.
But
Lazard,
A1
man.
for Jaden. Next up, Malik Beasley, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists in 30 minutes, 8 of 14 shooting, 4 of 10 from 3. He also had 5 personal fouls, which is not something that I expect out of him, but I'm okay with him having a little bit more aggressive defense, even though he's not necessarily the best defender. He's showing some signs in these last 2 games of being competent defensively. And I'll take it because before we expected nothing out of him, and I now am excited to see him out there again. But I've always been excited for Malik. That's just something I have been. But you guys have any grades for Malik?
A.
Again,
he scored 23 and you didn't even see it.
Yeah.
Beasley deserves A1. I like what Wombat said. Let's just do A1 for him too.
A1 too. That was totally what I was going to say as well. Tommy N.
All right, A1.
He was incredible. Yeah, it was awesome. It's such a reliable asset and a weapon off the bench. And he's learned to love his role, like as that spark plug off the bench. And 4 for 10 is 4 for 10. That's 40%. That's what we want from our 3-point gunner, and that's what we got. And it's awesome to see. And he even had a couple twos, like a layup that was awesome. So I don't know, man. It's awesome to see. Yeah.
And just to catch up on some of the Discord, because the Discord's also been participating in the tier list. There were a few Malik A1s, and there primarily was only A's and B's for Jaden McDaniels, but I think Dylan made a good argument.
10 for 10 doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
read the tier list, Chalanga.
Yeah.
We're doing a bit right now.
All right. Next up, let's do D'Lo next. So D'Lo, stinker of a game somewhat. I guess I'm already trying to poison everybody's minds, but it was bad. 10 points in 30 minutes, 3 rebounds, 9 assists, only 2 of 11 shooting. Some shots of those typical D'Lo shots where it kind of takes everything out of the game. 3 fouls, and but he was a plus 12 in the end. But that's just being a factor of being out there with the starters. But grades for D'Lo.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I want to give him a C because he was very important as a playmaker on the team and hit that very important 3 late in the game as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a C. I mean, I might expect more scoring and not 2 of 11 shooting, but 9 assists, and he was out there as a playmaker. And
again, it's D'Lo. You never know.
Yeah. This is basically borderline becoming what we expect. Is either he's gonna go off or he's not, and he's gonna be a good playmaker. So that's kind of I guess where
9 assists, 2 turnovers.
This is kind of an aside, but Memphis was 10 for 10 at the beginning of the season, right? Out of the first 20 games, and then they just crushed in the end of the season, just on a tirade. Yeah, like 56 and 26 or whatever is what their end of the record was, whatever. In those four games versus Memphis, though, D'Lo popped off for 31 points a game or something silly. So they were game planning him. They were addressing him. And, usually when some random player pops off once, that's okay, or whatever, we don't care about it. But when they literally neutralize Ja Morant to 20 points a game and we pop off for 31, you got to kind of maybe look at that as not just an anomaly because it happened every game. Yeah. It was an anomaly because it didn't really happen for us every game, but just in Memphis, right? So they addressed it, and that's cool. Luckily, we have 2 others that can pop off at any given moment, and they didn't get into foul trouble either, even though they each had 5 fouls at the end of the game, or at least Ant did at least. But I'm just saying that it's nice to have a big 3 that you can kind of rely on at least one every given night, and then one other will have to pop off and perform. Luckily, we didn't have to rely on D'Lo, but it was nice to see on Tuesday that he's here, he's ready, and it's this extra weapon that we were kind of iffy about. And maybe he gets a pass tonight. Yeah, we're hoping that he doesn't have the same kind of result in game 2s and on, right? So he was okay. A couple of weird calls that didn't go his way, or non-calls that didn't go his way, and he was kind of making try to bait a couple calls that didn't go his way, and he didn't get that. You didn't get that. What is it called? Rip through move at all. He didn't even try. The cool thing though is he made that 3, that Dylan said. He went 1 for 9. It didn't really faze him. He still made that 3. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oops. Sorry, I redid that comment. Yeah, I think C is fair for him tonight, and we'll move on to Pat Bev. So, and yes, JJ, 9 assists to 2 turnovers is really good. Pat Bev, who is public enemy number 1 in Memphis, apparently. He
played for one half a practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if that.
Even.
He didn't even show up.
He took the plane and then they rerouted the plane halfway there. So,
Yeah.
but Patrick Beverley, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 of 8 shooting. Did have 5 fouls that did take him out of the game multiple times. This wasn't like a foul situation that all happened at the end. This was early and often. But again, he just made big plays, made that big 3 at that one point. We were up, I think, only by like 6 or 7 and brought it up to like 9 or 10. I can't remember. But yeah, grades. Well, let's do a 3-2-1. Let's do another 3-2-1. I forgot to do 3-2-1s.
I want to say one more thing
Yes.
about Patrick Beverley. He went like this in the first quarter. God, I'm so bad with cameras. Where's my camera? There. He went like this.
Yeah.
He told everyone to calm down when we were up 13.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now's the time to just keep your head on straight and keep pushing.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing about Patrick Beverley, not the way he plays on the court.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that is really the thing. I mean, he's almost like a player coach that's out there in the starting 5 because it's he really does try to like calm people down. Or if Carl's getting a little too wild, he's like, no, bring it back in. Ashman's fixing his camera, but he'll be back. But yeah, no, that is just that's just who he is, and it's perfect. But you're right back in time for the 3-2-1 and 3-2-1
B.
There it is.
Wow, look at that. That was like quartet or something. Oh, I guess it's not 4 of us.
Almost. It was with 3 people, but yeah.
A duo quartet, whatever they would call that.
A duo quartet, -1, yeah. Beverly didn't hurt us on offense, and I think that was a big deal. I think a couple of his antics didn't go the way he wanted him to go. That's fine. When they do, they really pop off on us for us and give us huge momentum. We created our own momentum. We were making shots. He wasn't as needed as possible as he used to be, as he was in previous games. And so he's there as a weapon for us. He wasn't necessarily needed in that kind of like Patrick Beverley role, but the defense was great. He was pesky. He forced the ball out of John Morant's hands like 80% of the time. That's incredible. And 10 points, man. That's awesome. 10, 6, and 6. That's sweet. We can have multiple people handling the ball, creating opportunities for others, and others deliver for you. It's awesome.
Yeah, 10, 6, and 6 is a great line for Patrick Beverley to keep for the rest of the series. I'm on the A side of B, but I'm still slightly in that B territory.
Yeah, I'm on the B side of B for sure. Mm-hmm.
I'm on the A1 side of B. Just kidding. I think he's a B, and that's all that needs to be said. Chalanga ate some bad beans. Next up, Karl Anthony Towns, who played the most minutes tonight. And this is a kind of a question we had going into the play-in was how many minutes are our star players going to play? Are we going to have anybody go over 40? Because typically they max out at like 35. And he played 42 minutes tonight, had 29 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists. He was 11 of 18 shooting, 5 of 5 from the line, and only had 3 personal fouls.
And only 3 turnovers, despite 2 of them being the most egregious swing passes that he's done since he's entered the league.
Yeah.
They were wild. They were throwbacks to the beginning of the season for sure.
For sure.
But at least there was only 3. And I am ready for my grade for Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
A.
B.
B.
Wow.
Give it to us.
I mean, we just came from Karl scoring 60.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
and 11, by the way.
I'm giving 13 rebounds is great. The 4 offensive rebounds were incredible.
Yeah.
So that's what brings him above average. But I expect 29 and 10 from Karl Anthony Towns in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I want to set that expectation for him. I'm okay with setting the bar high because I think that he is one of the most consistent players. And who cares if it was in his head on the second year of the anniversary of his mother's passing?
Yeah.
Who cares about that? That's one game. He's going to be awesome. He's been awesome. He's so consistent. The Houston series was abominable, abdominal, whatever. He was bad, but the way Jimmy Butler played did not add anything to Karl's game. So I'm not worried about it. I still think this is Karl's team, even though Anthony Edwards is making a very good case for taking it over. But yeah, B tier for Karl. This is your team.
Yeah, I agree that it is Karl's team still right now, but I think that it should eventually. I mean, Ant is showing consistency now for 2 games. Well, I mean, he was good at ending the season as well, but you know, we've seen a pretty consistent season. I was pretty unhappy with Karl coming into the season, and in the beginning of the season, I was not happy. Me and Ashwin were not having very happy podcasts, but you know, about halfway through, once we got especially past the All-Star break, it was like, okay, this is like Cat has played well and like not making really, really egregiously bad mistakes, almost like a month or two. And Cat did that tonight. I think, you know, I agree with what you're saying with the, like, yeah, I expect 29 and 10 out of him. Because even on his bad nights, he still gets his numbers. You know, that's usually what happens other than the Clippers game. But I just think
his defense gives him the A tier. I agree with you guys, really.
He did have some good defense. Yeah, he did, because it wasn't like he completely gave up on defense. There were some possessions where I could tell Towns is like, I'm not going to get anywhere near this so that I don't get a foul. And I couldn't believe that. That was super surprising to me.
Everyone does that. That's tact. That's good defense.
Well, yeah, and but he never does.
Jaren Jackson Jr. has a clear lane. Just stay out of the way.
Yeah.
Don't get in the way of that.
Yes.
That's fine. Give those 2 points up and get 3 points on the other end.
But we've seen the other side of Towns that does not do that, you know.
Yeah.
And tonight we saw that. Although he got similar numbers to maybe what I'd expect, I just thought that he made winning plays and winning non-plays throughout this game.
And he went vertical every time down low.
Yeah. That's my biggest takeaway from this game, actually, is that Cat can play, Cat can compete, and Cat doesn't have to be the star of the show necessarily to get his stats. He got it actually from the flow of the offense for the most part, especially in the first quarter where, man, I will say, it was hard for me to get really engaged in the game because the broadcast was Stephen A. Smith and Jalen Rose, and it was
worse than that.
Yeah, and that was worse than So I was like, I had it on mute, and I was just kind of like exploring my own thoughts. I didn't want to be fed any information from that shit, so it was hard for me to get really engaged. But yeah, Cat was popping off in that first quarter. That 3 over Steven Adams' face was insane, orgasmic. That's what Cat does for me. He makes me gasm. And that dunk, that is like a dunk that will be heard across the world, at least on Top 10 Sports Center. That's what he's always wanted ever since he went nude for them.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted. And it's really cool to see. However, 2 for 5 from 3. I wish it was 4 for 10. I wish he could shoot more. He was just more assertive on that end, because that really opens the paint for Anthony Edwards, because Anthony Edwards had a really hard time driving to the rim. He still made it. He still got his points, man, but for sure. But just that extra layer of like that obvious threat from 3 will keep that paint open for him, and will potentially force Steven Adams or Jalen Jackson to be on the side, you know, to be away from Ant's drives. So
if Karl had gone nude, it would have been A1, and it would have kept that paint open. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Did have his tongue out a couple times tonight early in the game. He was doing that to somebody on the sideline. I don't know if it's like his dad or somebody that he knew, but or just Karl being Karl, but
it was Chain Girl.
Yeah.
He responded. You know, we don't have to talk about that Clippers game anymore. That's what's also really great about this game. We're done with that Clippers game. This is now the game that we get to reference, and this is the game that the Memphis Grizzlies are going to game plan for, because he still popped off for 29. So
I don't want to talk about 2017, 2018 ever again.
Yes, that too.
And whoever was on that team.
That series sucked. That whole season was abysmal or abdominal. What did you say?
Abdominal.
Abdomen. The whole series was abdomen, and he got exposed for sure, but I feel like that was his first test.
Mhm.
And this Clippers game was on a weird day. And now he has no kind of like cloudy judgment. There's nothing drama around him right now. He can just play. He can just be free spirited. And I feel like you saw that. He wasn't bitching at the refs as much as he
still
normally
was
does.
a lot.
As much. I had that pause there for a reason, but it
But
was
everyone
cool
was complaining. Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks, man, what a
dumbest way to spell that name, by the way. I just have to say that.
For sure.
True.
Well, anyways, yeah, we should yell at him. Fix your spell. Did you
fix your name?
Yeah, fix your name.
I'm sure he'll know.
I'm gonna just call him spell check for the rest of his career.
I like that. Well, cool. Great response from Towns. I agree with both of you. This is going to make us forget the Clippers game, and it also may help us, just as win in general is going to help us forget that 2017-18 year and series. We don't have to talk about it anymore because we just won game 1 on the road. So we finally have something new to talk about.
Which we almost did. We almost won game 1 on the road against Houston, which would have been.
Yeah. It was actually a good game too. Yeah.
I would have been foaming. I would have had rabies.
Yeah.
Man, it was some of the most miserable 48 minutes in my life, though, because that was just ugly basketball. Like
it was always no, yes.
It was all no, yeah. 100%. And it was all just Cat and Butler. And, like, I couldn't see a path to victory for at least for one game, but a 7-game series. But Tibbs was proving us wrong. Hey, I thought you said we were going to stop talking about this shit.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And
okay, sorry, I can't stop.
We don't talk about Jeff Teague on this show.
One thing that
those 10-year-old Tims that he's been playing in those Tims for 10 years.
Yeah, the Fits, what?
The Tims.
Oh, the Tims.
Timberland.
But one thing that was not unfortunate to watch was 40 minutes of Anthony Edwards tonight.
Yeah, incredible.
36 points in 40 minutes, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, a steal, 2 blocks.
What a man.
And really, he probably almost had one more, but they called that foul on him for like landing on Ja.
But which was dumb. That was dumb.
That was dumb. I don't think that was a foul. They just called it.
Ja was like kicking his feet out at Ant, and Ant was like, "I'm just trying not to hurt you."
Yeah, exactly. It was really dumb. But 12.
Ja was getting a very easy whistle. There was also that thing when the studio was actually doing the broadcast, and Stephen A. Smith admitted himself. He's like, "Oh, Ja initiated that contact. That should have been an offensive foul." I don't remember who was it. Maybe it was Beasley or something. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Ant was 12 of 23 tonight, 4 of 11 from 3, 8 of 8 from the line. He did have those 5 fouls, which was pretty constant throughout the game, but only 2 turnovers. Are you guys ready to grade Anthony Edwards?
There were a couple moments. I just need to say that the biggest problem with Memphis for the Timberwolves is when Ja gets in transition. Or one of the biggest. I guess, obviously it's the team thing as well. But when the team's playing in transition as well, when the Timberwolves are getting beat in transition, it is a bad sight to see. And Anthony Edwards was a victim of a couple of those lob dunks.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's true.
Well, we lost the turnover battle. We lost the transition battle, fast breaks, free throws, whatever. But we won the game, right?
Yeah.
We shot 50% from the field. We slowed the game down enough, and we kept the lead and the rope far enough away from them, so that we could have that kind of luxury of missing a couple of shots, of having them have a couple transition, dunks or whatever, and the clear path foul, which was like stupid as hell. I don't know, man. I don't know why I'm saying any of that. I'm chill with, like, we lost some of the battles, but like we had equal and opposite measures of like things like I didn't expect.
But we won the bigger battle, but not the war.
Yeah.
Lost some of the little battles, but won the bigger battle. But now it's about the biggest. Well, it's not quite the war until you get the Larry O'Brien.
But we got the armies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
then another level, and then another level, and another level. Shout out Stephon Marbury.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty funny.
Also, speaking of old Timberwolves, Wally Zerbiak has tweeted out that he is proud of us, and Pat Bev said, "We got you."
We got you.
Or no, he said, "Y'all started it. Y'all started it." To Wally Zerbiak back in 2004. But anyways, Anthony Edwards, let's 3-2-1 it. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
C
you won.
tier.
It's
I
expected
expected
now.
out of him. I'm sorry. That's what you said. Expected, right?
Mhm.
He scored
Yeah.
30 in the last game. This game's more
You're right.
important, so he should be better because Ant's come out in the lights. That's what he says.
You're right. And
So,
Ant
that's what I'm
expected
in
this
C
for
tier, dude.
himself.
Bottom
No,
of the
but-
C tier.
Honestly, I can't give him A1. Those shots were ridiculous. He can't get away with that for the rest of the series. He needs to get to the
Right.
get to the hoop. I'm not giving him A1. I'm giving him an A. I'll give that up. But there were some lapses on defense, and he needs to get to the basket. He's not going to be whatever a 100 for 100 from mid range like he was in this game. When he had the toes on the line on that second shot he took.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, man, that's not a good shot. I mean, it's Ant is a no yes in such a much less toxic way than the 2018 Timberwolves, but it's there sometimes, and it was tonight, and I'm so thankful that it went our way this time. But I will say I can't give him an A1 for the shot selection and the couple lapses in defense that I saw in transition.
Yeah.
You have a killer eye roll, by the way.
Yeah, it's an acting technique that I learned in acting school. So,
Oh, dude, no big deal, no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was just, I mean, like, you're right. Some of those shots that he was taking were ridiculous, but he was making them tonight. And hey, if this is Ant, playoff Ant, or just Ant going forward, this is the thing that's crazy. What is happening?
We are about to be war criminals. The Timberwolves are about to be war criminals.
Gupta already is, but yes, that's true.
Definitely. Well, we know Gerson Rosas is a war criminal.
No, those just the shots were too big. He made so many of them that it was mind-boggling. Free throws, obviously great. Driving, step back, pulling up for twos. It was just amazing. I stick with my A1. Ashwin.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight you about it, but it's an A.
Well, I'm not going to fight either, and we're just going to settle on the fact that it's an A1 because I have the mouse.
No, 2-1. It's 2-1.
2-1. It's not fair, but there's your tier list.
Hey, who's the clown below? Well, I did go to clown school, Charles Cobb, for an entire year. I technically have the training. Thank you, Charles.
Jeez. Yes. No, it was a great game. Obviously, lots of high.
Oh, wait, sorry, not Joe Becker, Charles Cobb. I'm sorry, I'm reading names wrong. What's going on? I don't know how to do this game.
But a high tier game for everyone, and a fun one. I'm excited for the next game. Next game is Tuesday, also obviously in Memphis. What are our thoughts going into the Memphis game or the other Memphis? It's the game 2.
Just withstand that first quarter because the Grizzlies are going to be really good.
Yeah. Yep.
They're going to come out hot, and the Wolves just got to keep it steady. Mm-hmm. If they can win game 2, then the series is in their hands. But if they don't win, it's still up for grabs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we made 16 threes tonight. Keep trucking. We shot 50% from the floor. Make those quality shots. And they're going to respond. They're going to be in our face. They're going to be in our grill. Get to the line. Get in the bonus early. They're going to peel off of us, and then we can make those shots. So that's my kind of key to the game is be tall, be kind of like not without jumping. Try not to bite for John Morant's antics. Let him pop off because it's not letting the others cook or get involved. And kind of box out. Be big and box out by Brandon Clark and JJJ or whatever. And continue doing what we're doing, making shots, making the easy threes that we were able to distribute and get in the offense, and ride Ant to the ground for sure because he's carrying us right now.
He is. I agree with both takes. I do agree, especially with the first quarter take from Dylan. I think they're going to come out so strong and so motivated because they just lost game 1 at home. They are going to need to have a good performance and come out and gain. I won't be surprised. I mean, the Wolves should be prepared for this, but like the Grizzlies are going to try to take this like a 20 lead in the beginning of the game. So if we can stay even with them, I think that shows that that right there proves that we can hang with them at any time, because they're going to be playing their best and most motivated basketball in that first quarter. So if we can hang with them there, regardless of outcome of the game, I think that shows toughness to win this series. So
if Taylor Jenkins has any guts whatsoever, and if he actually wants to win Coach of the Year some year, he's going to have to bench John Morant. I'm just saying, hey, you know what? Your team plays better without him. Maybe it's time to just see what happens without him.
And Steven Adams, both of them.
Well, apparently we played better without Cat too, right?
Yeah, we play. Well, we are going to bench Cat in the next game.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Rest.
Ant 4 versus 5.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love that idea. Just playoff game 2, and the intensity is the highest. Bench all our stars.
Yeah.
J-Mac versus Tyus Jones.
Well, the only thing I had left to ask you guys was what so obviously we all had our own predictions coming into this series. I said Grizzlies in 7. It sounds like Dylan, you said Grizzlies in 7. Ashton, did you say Wolves in 6? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wolves in 6.
Has this changed anybody's mind on the length or outcome of this? Dylan, we'll start with you.
It shifted the probabilities, but I'm still what's it called in statistics? It's not a majority, but it's a plurality. The plurality goes with Game 7 in Memphis, and I don't think that the Wolves can take a Game 7 in Memphis, but I'm not counting it out.
Yeah,
obviously, like there's a huge possibility of Wolves in 6 even, but I don't think it's going to be any shorter than that.
Yeah. Well, Ashwin, I know you said Wolves in 6. You thinking Wolves in 5 now?
Well, I think this is a great question for after game 2, because if Grizzlies respond and win, which we are potentially expecting to have happen, no, I think my predictions will stay the same. But if we end up somehow pulling off an overtime thriller or something stupid, their morale's going to be hurt. Yeah, maybe we can sweep them and be like, what up? Let's go Golden State or Denver. But I'm here to kind of just say, let's take it one game at a time. But my overall expectations haven't changed at all.
Yeah, I'm really torn right now, because I was thinking that we might come back. We might play well in this game, but lose and then try to come back in the second game. I had like 3 different theories, but this is one of them. And winning this first game just changes a lot for me. I'm really leaning towards now Wolves. I think Timberwolves playing with a lead in a series is going to be a really good thing. And I already felt comfortable even if we had lost the first game. So I guess I might be leaning towards, and again, this is just after one game, but I might be leaning towards Wolves in 6 now. And I certainly hope so, because I have tickets to Game 6. And I would love to be there at home for that game.
I think this took out Grizzlies in 5, 100%.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Barring any crazy setbacks, but
we would have to.
Stephen A needs a new job, huh?
Yeah, that'd be crazy. But yeah, any final thoughts? I think I've said everything I need to. I'm ready for Tuesday. Last thoughts from anyone?
See you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Ashwin?
Yeah. I think Finch has the correct rotation, man. I think he's got the right people here, and I think he's going to figure out that he's not going to need all this energy from Vando, because he got Jaden and Prince on the sides, and those are more important than like extra, that maybe that one possession every 20 minutes that Vando will get for us. So I think that's going to be a big key for us. And I think, just keep doing what we're doing, man. I'll see you next Tuesday. I feel like Dylan said something different though, but
wait, what?
What did you say? You said
I just said see you next Tuesday. What?
I heard Penis Tuesday, and I was like, all right, man.
Oh no. See you next Tuesday, but you know what that spells, right?
Yeah.
No.
I see that.
My brain is frazzled. But Gerald is deep into the Bev lights right now. Don't let the gravity of what happened today pass you by. And that is what we're going to close on. Gerald, words of wisdom, words of Bud Light. I appreciate everybody for stopping by in the chat. I appreciate Dylan for joining. You want to do a shout out for any plugs, links, anything?
Follow at Cnd NBA Show on Twitter, email us if you want to be on our show. We let anybody on the show. You can be anyone. We will edit you the way that we want you to sound.
Perfect. Perfect. I don't know if that's a threat or no.
cndnba@gmail.com is our email. Also,
Dude,
we just like talking, but we don't have a Discord yet. We will have a Discord at some point.
Perfect. Shout out C&D Discord.
Hey, Wolf fans everywhere. Congrats. We got in, we're in, and we're a game in already. It's awesome. Yeah. Feels so much better than whenever we were in the playoffs last.
Yeah, so I see you next Tuesday. Okay. But anyways, thank you all for joining us. We will be back on Tuesday night. It is a nighttime game finally. No afternoon games. I think we're going to be pretty late games from here on out. But
bring it on.
Wolves and 4 is a possibility.
Bring it on, Grandpas.
We will see that. Oh, I forgot to put this little thing on the bottom of the screen. It says, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
I did it.
But I appreciate it. Anybody who subbed, appreciate it. We'll be back Tuesday night. And 52 wins still in play. Also, we actually can do the intro as the outro. We will see you all Tuesday night.